Welcome back, guys, to another video. We have a familiar face, Miss Savannah, making time out of her busy day to come onto our show here and to kind of share with you more about where she left off from our first video. And if you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out. But to give you a little bit of a high zoom kind of viewpoint looking down, Savannah came into our program. I believe Savannah was mid-October. She also had a full-time job then. She then proceeded to quit that job in January. And now to date, she's done, I think, 8 official placements with 2 or 3 outstanding offers right now as we film. So technically, I'm just going to give it to you and round it up to be a flat 10, Savannah. How do you think about that?
Let's go with it. 10. 10. Tens across the board.
I mean, 10 in since basically end of October, early November till March, which is amazing. And I think your first deal was faster than my first deal. But how's it been so far since you and I made the first video?
Yeah, since we made the video, like everything's been great, really. I mean, it's just funny looking back, like when we made that first one, it seems like that was literally forever ago when we made that initial video. But like, just time is flying, time is money. Everything has been really, really great. I'm having a blast. I feel very, very blessed to be doing something that I'm just like, I don't even perceive it as work. Like, that's crazy. Like, the dream job situation has happened and
And
I made it happen for myself.
and you're also sharing with me all those beautiful like text messages and emails that you'd be getting from candidates saying, "Thank you so much. I found my dream job because of you," or your clients thanking you. Like it never gets old, does it?
I cry tears, all the happy tears, the emails, the texts, the LinkedIn messages. I think I was telling you about this, Preston. I have my why folder, which I would encourage everyone to have a why folder if you're going to hop into this business. Have that reason, that way for you to, pop back in and look at screenshots, any copy and paste and just reasons why you're doing what you're doing so you can go back and reflect on it. That has been emotional, but really, really good to have. Always good to have that on hand.
You were able to quit your job in January, which meant you had about 2.5 months, roughly 3 months of just starting your own recruitment agency part time.
Are you struggling with getting responses from clients? Are you an established recruiter who is struggling to break 6 figures and beyond? Are you looking to start recruiting part-time and you don't know how? Do you feel burned out and stuck spending hours and hours each day in manual tasks like sourcing and outreaching and feeling like you have no time to actually run and grow your business? I am absolutely happy to announce that we have launched our own recruitment, educational, and coaching program to help you on your journey. We made sure that everything I've learned in the past 10 years, the tips, the strategies that really helped me build multiple 7 figures of placements on my own desk with some of the best companies in the world will be included in there. We'll also be including things like how you can build an acquisition system that brings in clients every month to your agency hands-free, how you can maximize the probability of a positive close during negotiations, how you can automate and outsource your day-to-day operations so that you don't have to spend hours per day researching or sourcing, how you can figure out the new and modern way to scale your agency that minimizes risk and maximize your upside potential. And we've also included much, much more. The best thing about this is not only will you be getting amazing content, but we will also handhold you and be with you every step of the way to make sure that you are held accountable and you crush your goals. We'll also share with you our own tech stack, tools, and plugins we actually use, plus everything else we know about automation and AI to help you save time, work smarter, and not be a slave to your business. The exciting news is that we've actually rolled this out to a select few people earlier this year, and I'm excited to see them well on the way to multiple 6 figures, with some breaking $30,000 to $50,000 per month already. So if you're interested to be a successful recruiter that can dominate in any market conditions, make sure you click on the link below to chat with another member of our team, and we're happy to chat with you to see if we can help you out. Make sure you jump on this really quickly. See you on the other side.
You were able to quit your job in January, which meant you had about 2.5 months, roughly 3 months of just starting your own recruitment agency part time. So, what would you say to those people who are like, you know what? I don't know if I can start something like this part time. And second, honestly, how did you feel when you actually quit your job?
Yeah, no, great question. Great question. I think people who are on the fence about it, like, would I advise to hop right into it as quick as I did? Like, no, not necessarily. Everyone's different. Everyone's on a different timeline. Everyone's on a different path. I think that when I made that decision to quit, like, it got to the point, Preston, where I was not able to give my whole self to my full time because my part-time commitments, like with my agency, like things were just booming and like going so well. I was not able to devote my full self to either of the things. I kind of had to look very, very deeply and say, okay, what do I want my future to look like? Like as far as what fills my cup, what is filling my cup? And I just knew, the world of recruiting, all of this stuff is really what I could speak to when it comes to what I'm most passionate about. So I knew that that was what I wanted to pursue and dive into and put all my time and effort into going forward.
That's a great thing that you bring that up because a lot of people are like, you know what, I want to start something on the side, but then they're not going to realize that if that goes well, it's going to force you to like a crossroads in life.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be right. You're gonna like, what do I do? Like, do I just keep this as a side thing? But like, it's going so well, it's getting momentum, and now it's like encroaching on my full-time thing. And then you're like, now I can't be really good on one thing or the other. Both are taking a hit. So like, do I stop it or do I just shut something down? I can't ever tell people what to do, and only you know the answer, right? And so for you, you're like, you know what? It makes sense. I see the potential long term with my biz. My job is great, but I think I took it as far as I could. And now here you are, lady boss.
Yeah. Girl boss.
Lady boss, girl boss, woman boss, all of the above. Now,
all of them,
all
TM.
of them. So when you came into the recruiter school, what was like realistically, like honestly, what was like a goal? Like a one placement, like two placements, maybe you and Don would have been ecstatic about. Like just be honest, like what were you kind of hoping for? Like best case scenario.
Totally. So Don and I, my husband, of which we started the agency together, our goal was like just one placement by the end of the year. Like just one placement by the end of the year. And like, we ended up crushing those goals, like that was really our whole thing. And it didn't even necessarily have to be like a huge, like dollar amount or anything crazy like that. It was just one placement by the end of the year. That was our initial goal. And then I knew me personally, I told you about this, Preston, but I have a goal within our first year of business. So we're now about halfway in. Within our first year of business, I want to take down 12 open to work banners on LinkedIn. So 12 people who are actively looking for a job, who actively need a job. That's a big goal of mine as well. And I'm super excited to say that out of my 8 placements, I think like 5 or 6 of them are those open to work banners. So like I'm doing really well. Like if anything, that open to work banner goal, Preston, honestly, is a little bit more important to me than like any sort of revenue goal. Like I really, really, really want to help people when they need it most. So I'm super excited to be knocking these green banners down.
And that's how I know you're in this profession for the right reasons, Savannah, right? Like you're in it for the right reasons and you're in it for the long haul because it's so easy to be like, I'm just here for the money. And if you don't make your money, like I quit. Or like it's so easy because it's so superficial. But like if you come into recruiting, you're like, I really want to actually help people. And everything else, revenue, finance is kind of like, is going to happen on the side. If I just focus on like good relationships and like making things happen for people that I care about, your results are just going to happen and speak for itself.
Yeah. Really, really looking forward to that, making that happen for myself and for others, just having those impact on people's lives. Like I've seen that firsthand. Like that's some of the stuff that's in my why folder, like people who have been laid off for however long and they're happy that I came in at the right moment. My timing is seeming to be impeccable, Preston. But I'm like, everyone's like, oh yeah, like I just put in my 2 weeks, or oh, I just got laid off. I'm so glad to hear from you. Like I'd love to chat about this role, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do I just have like a little Savannah Spidey sense going on? Like, how do I just know? I'm just like sliding on these people and presenting them with opportunities. And it just makes me feel so good,
Yeah. And it never gets old. And so embrace it. And I live for those comments. I live for those responses and kind emails and kind calls. And I love how you're just saving them too. Like it's just a great way for you just to go back and just kind of see all the great stuff that you've done for people.
100%.
So what I'm curious about is what did Savannah, the Savannah of the old, who's done her first or second placement, like what was the biggest difference between her and you now, where you just did your like 7th, 8th, and possibly about to do your 9th, 10th, and 11th?
Yeah. Savannah then was like really unsure of herself. She had a little bit of imposter syndrome going. And I'm not going to lie and say that the imposter syndrome is now completely gone, right? Like that'll of course come and go with time. I'm sure maybe you even have it from time to time. Like we all get it, But Savannah then was very much like, do you know what you're doing? Why are you doing that? Like just because you love to do this doesn't mean that you can like da 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 da. And I was just like very much like, just there were times where I would just kind of like nag at myself and really like not think as confidently as I should. And time again, each placement, each conversation, each validation, all my client feedback that I get is like, no, Savannah, like, you got this. Like, you're doing great. You're doing fine. And so it's like really that validation, from the people that I'm working with on a day to day, the people that I'm speaking to on a day to day, that's really, really helping me, through those tough times where sometimes it can ebb and flow. But I was just nowhere near as confident in my natural ability to do this, like as I am now.
And do you think you gained that confidence? It was just kind of a result of just more time that you needed and just more placements, more accolades? Or was there something that you actually intentionally did that gave yourself more confidence?
I think it was just honestly just more time and then more of that feedback and more of a little bit of just learning more about how other people work and how other people succeed and then kind of reflecting on like how I see myself in terms of success. So it was very much like, yes, the accolades are most definitely helping, but then it's also like, me sharing my experience with somebody else or maybe sharing how I do something with somebody else. And they're like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. You know me, I'm a very, very humble person. So like when I'm talking about maybe accomplishment that I had or I'm talking about the way that I do something and the other person responds and is like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, da da da. I'm just like, oh, okay, maybe that is kind of impressive. And I'm just casually talking about it. And it's just not really something that comes to mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's first of all very good to be humble. Every people should definitely strive to kind of be more low key and humble about that. But I totally get what you mean with the imposter syndrome. So like when you start anything new and you see like results faster than you expected, a big part of you could be like, well, was this like luck or is this kind of like skill?
Yeah.
Or right? And then you do a couple more placements. You're like, oh, it could still be luck. I'm just pinching myself. Reality is gonna hit me. I'm gonna lose everything. Right? Like that, your brain starts playing games on you. But at a certain point, you got to give yourself credit. Like, I see Savannah on the calls. I see Savannah and I talk to you in between the calls, sometimes throughout the week. And I see how much work you and Don are putting into this. And recruiting is beautiful. It's black and white. It's like what you put in is what you get out. And so like when I see people getting amazing results, it's very easy for people to be, oh, it's lucky, good for her, good for him. But for me, it's like I see the work that you put in. I'm like, you deserve every dollar of it.
Thank you. I'm working
Yeah,
real hard. I'm
right.
grinding.
And now, like almost like several months later since you started, like it's no longer luck. Like you kind of know what you're doing. So what's now like what do you think is going to now be needed from Savannah and Don from placement 10 to placement 30?
Yeah, great question. I think Savannah and Don are working a lot better collaboratively now. We have each other's flows. We're playing into each other's strengths a little bit more, a little bit more intentionally. And I think it's schedules, right? Schedules. So whether that's time blocking something out so you can go take a little breaky break, or whether it's okay, I didn't get to this, so now maybe you can work on this, or oh, it's okay, I'll take over that for you so that you can work on this. It's very much so just like really tapping into our collaboration and our just playing into each other's strengths and schedules. I think that as long as we continue to do that and improve upon that, it's just going to keep rolling.
So does that mean like one of you is focused like on the candidate side, one of you focused on the client side, or both of you kind of doing full desk? Like, what's the breakdown?
Yeah, it's a lot of full desk between the both of us, but I think Dawn is also like a little bit stronger on the client side than I am. Whereas like I'm a lot more of like you know me, I love to yap. I'm a lot more of a people person. So like me just chit chatting with the candidates like day in and day out, like that's my heaven. Whereas like he won't mind like picking up the phone, sending out some emails and all that stuff. That's just, we're working with each other in that way.
So what would you say is some of like the biggest takeaways that you've learned? So if people who are listening and they've only done one or a couple of deals and they really want to get to that first like 10 deal mark and beyond, like was there like a one or two things that kind of unlocked things for you, or was like a big advice that helped you level up?
Yeah, I think this is something that you tell us too. And it's like, don't be afraid to fail. Like, I think that some people are so afraid of failing or like looking bad or like looking any type of way that they just literally don't do the thing that could probably really, really work out. You know what I'm saying? It could really, really work out. It could really go a complete opposite way of what you are telling yourself it can go. So I think not being afraid to fail and then go with your gut. Like, go with your gut always, always, always. If you're looking at a profile, it maybe didn't seem like a match, if that's that initial thought that you have, like, go with it. Go with what you see on that prospect's profile. Like, maybe you should tap into that in your outreach. Just go with your gut. And because the odds are like, if it's something specific that you kind of have in the back of your mind, you might be right about it.
Was the fear of failure difficult for you in the beginning?
Yes, totally. And especially in that period between like us going solo, getting our LLC and starting the program, and then the leaving of my full full-time job, like that whole period, it was just like, I don't know, like just very, very scary, but just knowing like with all of my heart that this is what I wanted to do, that fear of failure was like really, really, really getting to me. But then I was like seeing those initial placements in the beginning and I was like, oh, okay, I kind of have a little bit of proof of concept here, so maybe I should keep going. And I'm glad I didn't.
I'm so glad you didn't give up either. Like, and I don't blame you though, because like when our whole lives, we're just kind of programmed that failing is bad, where in business and, freelancing or working for yourself, failing is good. And to then have to like deprogram, unravel, relearn, and then kind of reframe how you look at failure, it's just learning. Like, that's what it is. That's how we learn. And failure is just such a big word, such a negative connotation, word with such negative connotations that make it super scary for a lot of people. But I think, like, as you said perfectly, you fail once or twice and you realize, oh, failing a third or fourth time, not so bad, right? And then you start kind of getting smarter, you start learning, watching that data and stuff like that. But it's really hard to like teach someone or to coach someone how to like be okay with failure. You know what I mean? Like, they just have to kind of take that jump themselves. And then someone has to be there to give them like a life vest saying, you're good, you're not going to drown.
Yeah, totally. And you know what I think helps too when I think about failure? Like, if you don't fail, how are you supposed to know? Like, you physically cannot learn from your mistakes if you don't make them. So, like, make a mistake so that okay, I need to not do this, or I need to screen this way next time. Like, you literally cannot learn from mistakes that you aren't making. So don't be afraid to make them, because they're going to happen naturally and you will learn. You cannot improve, you cannot get better if you are not messing up in some way, shape, or form. And there's not a single person on earth that does not mess up in any way, shape, or form. They may not talk about it, they may not post about it on LinkedIn, but it's happening.
You can learn like the best tactic, the best strategy, but if you don't do anything, you're just nothing. You're going to get no data. You're never going to learn, and you're just never going to take that step forward.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And so it's just shocking to me how, like, for a lot of people, just taking that first step is just really, really tough. But then I realized, like, for me, the reason why it's shocking is because I'm just now ingrained working for myself for a long time. So, like, my risk averse is very different than someone who's like never taken any risks in their life. But I remember back in the first day, even for me, I was terrified, super paralyzed, right? But then you just kind of get better and you learn about it. You self-manage, you become more aware of that stuff. But it's so awesome to see someone like yourself be able to kind of go through that journey really quickly, though, right? Because for some people, it can take a long time.
Totally. And I think, to that point, like, it's taking a long time for some. I think I made this post about how recruiting is my ikigai, and it's just like completely and totally just everything I want to do in life. And there were people that were congratulating me and like telling me, like, Savannah, you're very, very lucky. Some people don't discover their ikigai until it's too late, until they've spent all their life doing something else, like something else random that was convenient or something that they felt very, very comfortable doing. Like, people are not making that discovery so young. And I was like, wow, like, I literally have not thought of that. Like, yes, like, and here I am, earlier on in life, I've discovered it, and now I can just do it for as long as I want.
So
like,
for people who are unfamiliar with ikigai, can you define that?
Oh, yeah, totally. If you can give me a second to.
But it's basically, like, obviously stems from Japanese culture, but it's a way to kind of find your life's purpose, right? And kind of passion.
Yep, yeah, totally. I have it.
You
I'm
have
ready. We can even have like a little definition at the bottom of the screen. But ikigai, it's yes, a Japanese concept. It translates to a reason for being or a reason to live. And there's 4 key elements of it. It's something that you love, so you're passionate about it, something that you're good at, something that the world needs, and then something you can get paid for. In recruiting, to me, I love doing it. I'm incredibly passionate about it. I think I can say now that I'm very, very good at it, right? The world needs it. People need employment, people need job, in any shape or form, and then I can get paid for it. So it's like those 4 things, like, oh, okay, great. Those 4 things make one ikigai, which is recruiting to me.
And you're only able to find that though from taking action, right? If you never tried, you would never have like discovered this realm of recruiting, and you might have just passed it by. Isn't that a crazy thought too?
I was reflecting on this, Preston, when I had a little bit of a placement streak last week, and I was thinking, if you had told Savannah this time last year that I was going to quit my job and go all in on recruiting, something that I've just like loved doing on the side for like 3-4 years now, I would have been like, what are you talking about? That sounds dumb. Why would she do that?
Life can change super fast.
Yeah.
Right? It could literally just be right above that hump over the hill, and people would just have no idea. You just have to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, insane. Do you have a favorite tool?
Yeah. Like software?
Anything recruiting related.
Yeah,
Like,
anything.
if you were to think of one thing, what would it be?
I would say I'm big onto Loxo lately. Hashtag ad. It's ATS CRM. Really, really like it. It's just really user friendly. It's really keeping us all organized and like good to go. Anything that doesn't integrate with it, I'm like, oh no.
Don't use it. If it doesn't
Yeah,
work with
like
Luxo, I'm not using it.
I don't know her. Yeah, definitely Luxo. I like how we can source within it, even though we talked about this last time, Preston. I love sourcing. It's like a little game to me. So I'll go and like source on my own, but it does have a sourcing tool. It does have a way for us to like look at all of our people, make notes about them, brag on them, and all that good stuff. It's definitely our favorite tool for sure.
And what's one thing that you want to maybe work on in the next month or two? Like just improve with just your skill set or just being a recruiter? Mm.
Cold calling candidates. I've perfected my email outreach. I've perfected my connection request outreach. I've perfected my email outreach. But like just picking up the phone and just chit chatting with someone, candidate wise, I need to get better with that, I think.
It's so funny because you are already so self-aware on like you just love to chit chat and connect. Honestly, the best thing, the best channel for you to use is calling to both clients and candidates.
I
I think
know.
I
And
think
I'm
you're underestimating how probably effective and strong you could be if you start cold calling and trying it out.
I know. And you've told me this so many times. So now that people are hearing it, now I got to do it.
Yeah, we're holding you accountable. Now you got to find another smaller ikigai through cold calling. Maybe that'll be your passion within a passion. Who never know?
dialing as fast as I can. Maybe just
Yeah.
dialing real quick will really just get me going.
So how do you feel about when you're like hearing stories of people who are just kind of starting this journey that you literally just started months ago? Like, does it kind of make you feel a certain way?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel so happy for them. First, can I just say that I think I told you this too, Preston. Like, so many people have been reaching out to me since seeing our initial video. I'm excited for whoever else wants to reach out after seeing this one. Like, so many people that were exactly in my position or like a little bit before my position have been reaching out, and they're just like, I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, I have all these doubts. I'd love to get started. Like, there's like lots and lots of questions and all that. And what would I say to them? I would like, what do I think when they reach out is I just feel so happy for them. And it's like every time I get the chance to get on the phone with them, I really want to like just breathe life into their ideas and gas them up. And just like I said last time, like gas them up and just make sure that they know that they can take that step if they want to, especially if it's like, creeping on in part time. Like, I just feel so happy for them. And to even have a thought in the back of your mind that you want to do this, it does take a certain person to want to hop into this profession and be successful and not want to, like waver or, give up. And I just get so happy for people who are exploring this as an option because it's seriously such a special profession that has such an impact on many, 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 many people's lives.
Really is. And I feel like it's still such like a huge secret for a lot of people. And it should stay like that, recruiting. We don't want everyone to come to recruiting. No, I'm just kidding. But it's an amazing career, amazing business. And it's also just a huge decision too. And like what we want to try to do our best is honestly, we are just people that care and we want to create a good community that cares for each other, that support each other and just point you on the right way, right? And that's what we try our best to do with the recruiter school and we always want to do and become better, but still like a speechless experience to be able to kind of teach someone what I've learned in my career and then to see them like you are, Savannah, just doing almost their first 10 placements so fast, which is like crazy, crazy. For some people, they'd be happy doing 10 placements in a year. And so you're just on a rocket ship with crazy, crazy momentum. And it's amazing to see how much growth you've done as a person in only several months that I've got to know you and Dawn. It's also really cool to see that you're working with Dawn. I think this makes like the best business you can do with family and people you care about. And honestly, I think there's no limits to what you guys can do and where you guys can go into the future. And I know you're spending your money wisely. That's the assumption here. But is there like a fun little splurge or a fun little way, maybe a big or small, that you guys are going to treat yourself a little bit? Because at least you deserve it. You deserve a little bit.
Yeah, well, I just got a new laptop. Those are the pings I'm getting is because it's on its way. I just got a brand new laptop, brand new,
Ooh.
fresh MacBook Pro.
Oh
And then,
boy.
right? And then Don, he's got people in the offer stage. So once some of those cycle through, then he will get himself a new laptop. Our tech is definitely getting refreshed. Apple, that's a splurge.
Isn't that the coolest thing though? Is like you're actually changing like your tech stack, things around your home, your life from the money that you created from your business that you didn't know even existed like 90 days ago.
Yeah, like just completely and totally reinvesting. We'll always reinvest into our business and ourselves first. Maybe something fun, something not related to work, maybe a little cruise moment, something like
Ooh.
that. Yeah.
You deserve it. And then what would be like your biggest advice, making sure that you also have quality personal family time now that you're running a business with your family? Are you
I
guys
think
still trying to figure it out
yeah,
a little
like
bit?
I think what we want to do like as a family together is something with our business.
But like, how do you make sure you can also just like draw like the lines between not thinking and working on your business all day and making sure that you're there for each other, right? Your relationship, your family, you got family time, personal time outside of work.
Yeah, those time blocks really, really, really come in handy. So like it just a little moment where we can go grab our son early from school and like go to the park and hang out, just blocking the time. And that's what's so beautiful about being in charge of your schedule, right? Because like all I have to do is boop, just do a little drag of a box, and no one can schedule interviews with me. It won't pop up as available. They can catch me on the flip side, catch me the next day, and we can block out that time to be able to spend with each other. But definitely, as we continue to invest in our business and continue to invest in ourselves and our family, we want to build up something really, really great that maybe our son will want to take over one day. That's really exciting to think about. It's not something that we thought of. Of course, we think of passing down things to him, right? This time last year, we weren't thinking of passing down a uber successful recruitment agency one day,
But now it's there, right?
Now it's there.
Now it's there because again, we're always just going back to just action, 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 action. You just executed, you believed in yourself, and you took your shot, and here you are. So I think like for me, it's always just awesome catching up with you. You have such great energy, and it's been an absolute pleasure of ours to see how you guys are crushing it. Who knows? We might have to do a part 3 later this year once Savannah and Dawn, pass their 100th placement or something ridiculous. But any other goals that you guys are striving for this year that we haven't covered?
Yeah, probably. Like I'm telling you, like these open to work banners, like they're coming down. Like I'm sure that'll happen like any day now. But I think we want to have a 6-figure month because that's just cool to say. Like, oh yeah, we hit 6 figures last month, But quarter comes first. So a 6-figure quarter. So, we're poised to maybe have next quarter be a 6-figure quarter. And then before the end of the year, 1 or 2 6-figure months would be cool. If you were to ask me what the goals were months ago or when I first started, me like saying that I wouldn't think that was like a realistic thing to say out loud, but I'm saying it and I could like pull up our spreadsheet and like that could happen. Like that's a thing that could happen, which is insane.
I mean, with as hard as you guys are working, I don't see why not. And there's also 2 of you too, right?
Yeah.
So first 6-figure quarter, then month, then 6-figure week, then 6-figure day, then 6-figure hour, 6-figure minute.
6-figure minute, 6-figure email.
Every second now.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so in the future, I'm not sure if I can do a lot more videos with Savannah because she's like, you're taking away from my 6-figure minutes and hours. And so
taking the time.
Yeah, time is money, right? But Savannah, I appreciate you so much. If someone wanted to reach out to you, where could they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. My name is right here, Savannah McIlwain, McIlwain. Just reach out to me. More than happy to chit chat.
Perfect. And for people who are just kind of looking at recruiting for the first time again, is this a good career? Is it a good business opportunity in 2025 onward? What would you say?
I totally think so. I think things are on the up and up. Like it's turning around. Like you could definitely hop in whenever you want and make your impact. I think it's just a matter of whether or not you are ready for the challenge,
Well, guys, you've heard it from her. Part 2, absolutely incredible. Maybe third time you try, we'll do a part 3 in the future. But Savannah, proud of you, proud of your family. And just excited to see how far you take this. And let's keep up the great work and let's keep building.
Thanks, Preston. Thanks, everyone.